This is the Two Bald Guys Sports Podcast. Bald heads, bold takes. Now, here are your hosts, Adam and Tony.
Welcome back. I'm Adam.
I'm Tony.
Tony, this is the Two Bald Guys Sports Podcast. We're back, little 2-week hiatus. I went on a cruise. My wife turned 40. We went on a cruise, so
Nice.
it took a little bit of time off. It's hard. I guess we could have done a podcast, but it's kind of hard to do a podcast from the middle of the Caribbean Ocean, or Caribbean Sea, or whatever you want to call it. So
Exactly.
we're back. Hope everybody's been doing good. It's the off season, so it's a little bit easier to take 2 weeks off. But we're back. We got some NFL trades that have happened. We got some college football stuff. But the biggest thing that's come up is this Brandon Sorsby. It came out before we took our 2 weeks off about him betting on games and stuff like that. But then the NCAA ruled him ineligible, said he couldn't play again, and then they ruled him eligible. And then the SEC and the Big Ten went into it about we're not going to schedule Texas Tech and kind of punishing Texas Tech and all that stuff. So I don't know. There's a whole bunch of angles that we'll start with, but let's just go with do you think college players should be able to bet on games that's not their own team? Now, Sorsby, that's part of the problem, is at least 40 bets involved Indiana football when he was there at the time. He wasn't playing, but he was there.
Right.
That's a problem. I think that's a big problem when you're betting on the team. But let's say you're not betting on your own team. If they're of age and they're in a legal state, do you think college football players or college athletes in general should be able to bet?
Oh, that's a tricky question. So, how are you going to regulate who they're betting on and betting for? And that's the first problem. And second, I don't have a problem if they're not playing in the game or they don't have any vested interest in the game. If Brendan Sorsby is betting on Oklahoma versus Michigan, I don't care that much because he cannot factor into that at all. What the problem comes, and it's pretty obvious, is if he's a quarterback on the team and especially if he's playing. If he's playing, that's a whole nother issue. But the times he bet, I don't think he played a whole lot. But I think you mentioned he has some insider information on those games and the teams and things like that. So he has a little advantage. But if he's playing and he's gambling, that is obviously absolutely no, because all he has to do is throw an interception at the right time for him to keep the game within a certain point spread, something like that. Or maybe he has a lot of money if they lose and they get upset. Now he has a horrible game. So, I mean, obviously him playing, gambling, not acceptable at all. But games that he's not playing in or has no part of, I don't know why that would be a problem. Now, he has spent a lot of money. He might have a problem. I'm guessing. I'm just guessing the amount of money that he's spent is a lot. And it's unfortunate because I think Texas Tech, he's a good quarterback. I think Texas Tech would have had a really good season with him playing quarterback. I don't know who they really have now. But, he's done with college, and I think that's probably the right move for him and Texas Tech.
Yeah, listen, if you're like the amount of money he was betting, because it says right here, I pulled it up, he had 9,000. It says impermissible bets, which obviously would either be because he was too young, because obviously if he's a freshman, he's too young, or it was against NCAA rules, whatever it might have been. At least $90,000.
Yeah, that's
like. That's more than I make in a year,
right.
From my job. So like, I do think the amount of it is a problem. Like, and that goes to that, but that goes more of a problem on of an addiction for him than it is he's breaking any rules. If college athletes, like, obviously they're getting more money now, and this is the thing we can get into this thing about having a financial advisor and all that about spending money. But if they're of age and they're doing it legally, I don't have a problem with them betting. I don't even have a problem with betting on other college sports as long as it's not the team that they're on or playing against or whatever like that. Because I know Sorsby wasn't playing in those games against Indiana, but he's sitting there at practice. He knows what they're going to do. He has an idea of what's going on and what's not going on. Probably I know there's a lot of people out there that are trying to get to college athletes to make them do things, and some of them have given into that, but that's a whole other story too. But I don't necessarily have a problem with them betting, but when you get to your own team and stuff like that, that's a problem. Now, he obviously admitted it Now, did he admit it because he knew he was going to get caught, or did he admit it because he figured out he had a problem? I don't know. And while $90,000 is a lot of money for us, this guy's probably making millions of dollars now with NIL, so it's not as big of a deal for that. But like, I don't know. He goes to Texas Tech. He's going to be a starter, like you said. Texas Tech's coming off the playoff run. The Big 12 championship. They look pretty good. Sorsby was obviously really good with Cincinnati. So now, the biggest thing go to Texas Tech. So now the second part of that is, do you think? Well, okay. The NCAA ruled him ineligible, which I think was the right thing, and then they ruled him eligible. I think that set a precedent that was huge. Like,
right.
And Texas Tech was taking the brunt of it, but like, I don't know how you can let somebody come back into when it says he bet on games that his team was playing in. Like right there, I think the NCAA is screwed up. Like, we can complain about all these things, and how long it takes them to do things. But once you have somebody like this that's making bets, that's obviously has a problem making bets, and now he's going to play, you have to make him eligible right away. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we touch on one thing. You mentioned it briefly. NIL money, right? He doesn't get NIL money. Go back 10 years, 15 years, whatever you want. Mm-hmm. If he doesn't have NIL money, he can't spend $90,000 because I'm guessing he probably doesn't have it. But like you said, he's probably getting some millions of dollars from NIL, and we have no problem with the athletes getting paid. But this just shows how some of these athletes can be irresponsible with their money. And you mentioned a financial advisor or something like that. I might take it a step further and say that they can't really touch the NIL money till they're out of college.
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk about that as well, but I just thought of that. Like, you're right. These kids have all this money. Financial advisor would be great, but how about maybe they can't touch it and they can just let it sit somewhere and, collect interest or something in an account, and you'll have way more money coming out of college, because this is somebody who's making a lot of money, and he may or may not go to the NFL. We'll talk about that in a minute, but he could be blowing all of his money, his NIL money, on gambling and stuff like that. So obviously he needs help. But yes, with the NCAA, when they came out and said, nope, he's not eligible, if they would have stopped right there, I think everybody would have probably, I don't think you really can argue with it a whole lot, but then kind of turned it over and said, no, he can go ahead and play when he appealed it. And now, like you said, you're setting a precedent up for things like this to going forward. And that Texas Tech, obviously took the brunt of it because he's there. But this stuff happened when he was, at Indiana and at Cincinnati more than Texas Tech. But he just happens to be on Texas Tech right now. So obviously they're the program that's going to take the beating for it, unfortunately. But yeah, the NCAA, I think, if they're going to make rulings on things, that's setting precedent for future incidents, and they have to really, really think about that before they start ruling for sure on how they want to deal with this. Because when you start gambling on football games, now games are rigged, conspiracies are out there, like people don't trust things anymore. And now your product, NCAA football, which is a huge business, it gets tarnished. And it's unfortunate because, online, I just listened to some people or follow some people in there, and they're just talking like that they're really disappointed in this whole situation. And I think it came out about the best you could, because there's no way he could play, because every time he makes a mistake or Texas Tech does this or that, people are going to be questioning whether or not he's throwing the game.
Yeah, it gets to that point. Yeah, I mean, I think there's so much pressure on Sorsby and Texas Tech now. I think if you're Texas Tech, whether the Big Ten and the SEC or whoever went through with it, because they were saying let's boycott and let's not schedule Texas Tech in anything, and if you have a game with them, just cancel it. It wouldn't have completely ruined them, but I mean, you take the two biggest conferences out of there, and all of a sudden Texas Tech, who are you playing? I know they got their conference. I mean, as a team, Texas Tech, I mean, I know you want to be good, but it gets to a point where you got to be like, okay, sorry, Brendan, like some ethics got to we can't play you. Like, we can't. The blowback on this is too great. Maybe we miss I don't know, didn't think it was going to be as bad as it was, and it came back pretty bad on him, right away to Texas Tech, and whether it be, it just so happens that he was on Texas Tech. I don't know how much at fault Texas Tech is. Like, how much did they push for him to play? Like, what did they have to do to get the NCAA to let him play? Like, was Texas Tech really at fault so much, or was it them just kind of being like, well, we would love him to play here, we'll try, but they didn't push real hard? Like, like, is Texas Tech at fault of this? Not for what Sorsby did, but then for the NCAA reversing it? Like, do you think Texas Tech was at fault and it was going to be right for the Big Ten and the SEC to basically say, no, we're done with you?
I don't have a problem with those other conferences. I think Notre Dame was in there too. And I know Nebraska was like, we're not scheduling Tech. We're not playing Tech. I think that was more along the lines of like, hey, Texas Tech, you need to do something. If the NCAA is going to let him play, now we're coming at the program itself, Texas Tech. We're not going to play you guys. So I'm going to throw this out there. If you're the head coach of Texas Tech or the AD, and this all comes about, you probably should have stepped up and said, I understand he's eligible, but we're not going to play Sorsby this year. He's not playing. Mm-hmm. He can stay on the team. He can support the team, but he's not playing, right? I think that would have been a good kind of save face a little bit. But you're right, Tech. What did Tech do to come out? I mean, they just kind of – I didn't see anything where they made a statement saying, you know what, he's getting help. We're not going to play him or anything like that. They kind of just sat there in limbo waiting to see what was going to go on. And it would have kind of been – I think it's the right move that he doesn't play, obviously. But I don't know. Like you said, was that Texas Tech's? Like, are they pushing that? Like, hey, let's find another option for you, or was that Sorsby and his attorneys and things like that? Like, listen, your college career is really looking bad right now. Let's try to move to the NFL while we still can, because who knows? He hangs around in college another year, he might make some more bad choices, and then his NFL career is ruined as well. So I think they're going in the right direction. But you're right. I don't know how much Texas Tech played a part of that. I didn't see a whole lot about what their ideas were.
Yeah, I didn't see. I mean, maybe I missed it. Like you said, maybe you missed it. But like, I didn't see anything from Texas Tech coming out. I just saw basically the outrage.
Right.
I don't think the Big 12 was very happy either, with the whole situation. No. So, I mean, you do. I mean, as Texas Tech, whether you think it's right or wrong, and not that teams or colleges or whatever should be pressured into doing things that they shouldn't have to do. But this is one of those things where you're like, okay, you need to. We need to clean our hands from this.
right.
Or wash our hands of this. We can't have you on this team. It's too bad. Teams aren't going to want to play us, and now everything's on us. And now, yeah, you're right. It comes to a point like if he does start to make bad plays and stuff like that, they start to question it. So
yeah, absolutely.
I agree, and I what, good for the Big Ten and the SEC. At first I'm like, oh well, should they be the ones that say, oh, we're not going to play them? But you know what? You have to draw the line somewhere. And this is one of those big ones. Yeah. I mean, this is a huge one because people are already questioning, especially in the NFL, is there a script and stuff like that? I know college is a little bit different, but people question all the time, especially with gambling becoming more, becoming legal in pretty much every state. It's huge right now. So, and you and I like to do it a little bit. We're not crazy. We don't spend $90,000 on it, but
no,
it's fun. It puts a little, interest in the games and stuff like that. But like, it is a slippery slope. It can get bad real quick, as we see with Sorsby. And then, you start to wonder, you're like, okay, is there a fix on any of these games? And it can get to a point where, I mean, there's a ton of money in this. So, I mean, you go like that. I don't know. I think Texas Tech now, is obviously scrambling for Quebec. I don't know who's going to be, but I think Sorsby is saving face a little bit by entering this NFL supplemental draft, which I didn't know what it was, but you did a little research on it. So why don't you just go over it for a second?
I was like you. I'm like, NFL supplemental draft. I don't know a lot about it. We don't hear a lot about it. So I did a quick search, just looked into what the NFL supplemental draft is. It's kind of like the NBA lottery, if you're familiar with that at all. So you get a chance to like basically, I don't want to use this word, but you kind of get to bet on these players. Okay. I maybe did that on purpose, but the teams that finished really bad, the Jets, my Raiders, like they get like first pick of these players. But they have to put something up to get them. So let's say the Raiders wanted him, and they'll say, okay, I'm going to give a 2027 second round pick for Sorsby. And then the Jets come in and go, no, we're going to give a first round pick. We want him that bad. So then once everyone's done with their bet, boom, the Jets get him. Something along those lines. Now, teams that made the playoffs, if the Raiders and Jets and all these teams that finished way worse than a team that made the playoffs, like the Niners or the Steelers or the Bears or whoever, if none of them want to bet or put up anything for him, then they get to. Now it kind of just goes down the line. So your Bears, if they wanted him, they could get him, but they have to wait for all these other teams. They get an opportunity first. And if they don't want him and it gets all the way to Chicago and Chicago says, yeah, we'll take him for a 3rd round pick or whatever, then, and nobody else puts anything up, then boom, he goes to Chicago for a 3rd round pick. So that's kind of how the supplemental draft works. So that's what he's going to enter into. And I think, boy, if you're an NFL team, how cautious are you of picking this guy up? Are you going to put somebody on him? Are you going to have him go to some therapy sessions for addiction and things like that, or Gamblers Anonymous or whatever it is out there? I think if you're an NFL team, I think you again have to be real careful because of the position that he plays. If he's a cornerback instead of a quarterback, if he plays safety or something like that, he doesn't have as much influence over the game as a quarterback does. Now, he can miss a tackle every now and again. He could drop an interception, but those plays are not as often as the quarterback touches the ball every single play pretty much. So if you're an NFL team, you got to be careful with this guy, I think, but he'll probably get picked up by somebody.
Yeah, listen, there's enough quarterback needy teams out there, and really, the only quarterback we have ever seen, I don't want to say ostracized, and we're not trying to get into the political stuff, was Colin Kaepernick. Was the only one that was like really the only quarterback that was like, we're not going to sign you. Hell, Michael Vick got a job again after, he came back from, going to jail for a little bit for the dog ring stuff that he did. Yeah. So, this isn't a political thing. This isn't a for an NFL team. This isn't a newsworthy, like a nightmare. It's not a nightmare for them to sign him. But I do agree. Like if you sign him, I think you need to basically say, listen, you need to check in. You're not putting any bets in. We need to make sure you're not putting any bets in.
Correct.
And you need to continue to go to these like you said,
meetings,
Gamblers Anonymous or whatever it might be. I don't know exactly, but get some help for it. But I mean, like if let's be honest, like if you're a team that's had some problems with some stuff, then maybe you stay away from them. I don't know any right now, but maybe the Browns probably shouldn't pick him up. They already have Deshaun Watson and Shadir Sanders, which Shadir's been fine. I mean, it's just his ego that's in the way. He hasn't done anything wrong, but obviously the Watson situation has. So I think a team like the Browns probably should stay away from him. Maybe the Raiders stay away from him because they're in Vegas. I mean,
that's an excellent point. Hey, let's put a kid with a gambling problem in the king of all gambling cities. Yeah, that's a great point.
I mean, obviously the Raiders aren't going to want him to have you.
Yeah, no, that's a very good point. Where else? Jersey's got Atlantic City. Maybe no Jets or Giants for him, but
maybe stay away from them. But there's going to be a team like he right now he looks like a good enough talent to play really well at Cincinnati. Yes. Some team is going to want him. I mean, it'll be interesting to see who goes after him. Could it be the Jets? Like I know we just joked about New Jersey, but could it be the Jets? I mean, right now they have Geno Smith and really nothing after him. I mean, you have a chance to kind of get a quarterback here, and I think the Jets would be a situation that would probably be good for him. He's not expected to play right away. Geno Smith's going to play. They're not supposed to be very good. So, Sorsby goes there. I mean, I can't think of anybody else, that really is sitting there with like, would take a chance on him, I guess. Most of the playoff teams don't need him. Maybe the Cardinals. I mean, the Cardinals have Jacoby Brissett there, but they don't have much else after him. So the Cardinals, maybe. But I mean, you start to go through these teams. I mean, we could go through them here in a second and just see what teams might be interested. I can normally name all these teams, but I want to make sure we have them.
I mean,
right.
Arizona was actually one. I think something was mentioned in an article about Arizona or something like that. So I don't know if you're reading that article, you just kind of just off the top of your head thought Arizona
top of my head.
Top of your head. Yeah, Arizona, I think could be a good place for him. And like you said, the Jets with Geno Smith. Geno Smith's he's not going to be there for a long time. Like they need some help in that area.
I mean, the other team that just jumps at me after looking through the teams here would be the Steelers.
Yes.
You know, they have Rodgers for one more year. I mean, the Steelers would be, well, when Mike Tomlin was there, that was a good organization. We'll see what, oh my gosh, who their coach is now. He was the old Packers coach, and I'm drawing a blank all of a sudden.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Steelers, you know, because Rodgers he already said he's only going to play one more year. Now, we know he's notorious for not wanting to coach up backup quarterbacks.
Right.
So, you know, Titans just got Cam Ward. I can't see them. The Colts, you know, I don't see them really doing it.
Not if Daniel Jones is healthy. I think he's
solid. I mean,
I think he needs a mentor. He needs a mentor for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think your teams are. I mean, the Cardinals, obviously, the Cardinals, Jets, and Steelers. I mean, I'd honestly kind of be shocked if he ended up somewhere else, unless one of these other teams is just like, you know what, we want a better backup, you know, and we're going to take a flyer on him because, you know, these other teams that miss the playoffs. I mean, you know, the Chiefs don't care. They have Mahomes. They don't need anybody. You know, the Raiders just got Mendoza. The Commanders have Jaden Daniels, Cowboys, Giants. They all have their quarterbacks. Vikings, Lions have the quarterbacks now too. Bucks, Falcons, Saints have their quarterbacks. So, yeah, I'm going to go Cardinals, Steelers, or Jets is my guess. One of those three teams. I think the Steelers would be the best place for him to end up.
Yeah, I think if Mike Tomlin was there for sure, I would 100% be on board with that. But I'm kind of looking at teams thinking, who can he mentor under that could really kind of take him under their wing and really, you know, help him translate into the NFL. I mean, maybe he goes to Buffalo and Josh Allen can work with him a little bit, because I don't think Sorsby's a starter year one or year two type of player. He needs a few years. What about putting him out there with your boy Jim Harbaugh and learning under Justin Herbert? Jim Harbaugh is great with quarterbacks. Jim Harbaugh is obviously an excellent coach. Justin Herbert's been around long enough. I'm just throwing. I mean, set him behind Herbert for a few years with Jim.
The only thing I would say about not with the Chargers is because of just stuff that have gone on with Harbaugh, with his coaching staffs and stuff like that. You know, does he want to mess with a player like that? That'd be the only thing with that.
True.
The other team that maybe would be like the Panthers. You know, I mean, obviously Bryce Young played a lot better towards the end of last year, but you know, would it be good to bring in a guy with him? You know, and then you get two young guys that you have a chance with. I don't know. But yeah, I'm my three teams are going to go back to the Cardinals, Steelers, and Jets. I bet he ends up with one of those teams, and I think they do take a chance on him.
Yeah, somebody's definitely going to take a chance on him. I think he's good enough to. If this whole scandal hadn't gone down, he would have played well for Texas Tech. They maybe would have made a playoff run again, and he would have been drafted. So he's just going to have to go a different route now. Mm-hmm. And he's going to have to sit there for a couple of years. He's going to have to show that he's matured and he's over this problem, if you will, that he has. And obviously, I think he's going to have to sit for a couple of years so this can die down. Because just like if he played in college this year, there'll be questions when he makes mistakes. And then the NFL, like you said, there's already rumors about the NFL being scripted and things like that. If he goes out there in a backup role and ends up playing and loses the game, throws bad passes, something like that, people are going to question it, whether it's legit or not. So I think he needs to sit for probably 2 seasons, learn, and then let this go by, show that he's matured and gone, past this issue.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think that you can get him out there and play for somebody. But you're right, Las Vegas, probably not the best place.
Yeah, like I said, somebody will take advantage of him. But I know we said it last year, and it was one of those things where, like, we told like Shadir Sanders he puts his head down and just play baseball. Football. And it was mostly because of his, like we said, his ego and stuff like that, and just thinking he was kind of entitled to some stuff. We thought what it looked like, the way he came out. Sorsby's kind of the opposite direction. You just need to put your head down and play. Just go down, play the game that you hopefully love. And and show that you're taking the steps to become better at both football and obviously this gambling habit. And you never know what might happen. So don't know the guy, but I think it was probably the best bet for him to end his college career and enter the draft, and hope he can change things that way. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see which team picks him up. I don't know when this supplemental draft thing happens. I don't know.
I did not see when that goes on either.
Yeah, so we'll see when that happens and what team he ends up with. But what we do know, though, is there were some things that happened, over the break or over their 2 week, kind of, mini vacation, I guess you can call it, or whatever you want to say. There were some trades that happened.
Yep.
One we heard about coming for a long time was A.J. Brown going to the Patriots. It happened. He wasn't, it didn't seem like he was very happy in Philadelphia. He kept saying he was happy and he was fine, but pretty much everything that happened proved that he wasn't.
Correct.
So, will he make a difference with the Patriots? The Patriots, go away from Stephon Diggs after 1 year. One kind of, I don't want to say troubled run receiver, but one that kind of things followed him to another one with A.J. Brown. How do you think A.J. Brown will do in New England? And can Mike Vrabel, keep his mind mostly on football and get him back on track?
Yeah, obviously you got the Mike Vrabel stuff that's going on out there in New England, and now you have A.J. Brown, who had some, I'll just say, locker room issues maybe with Philadelphia for all we know, but he obviously wasn't happy there. I think if A.J. Brown shows up and he's a great talent. He's an excellent wide receiver. Nobody's doubting his talent level.
Right.
Attitude maybe though, and maybe it was just something in Philly, but he's proven he is a number one wide receiver. And now you put him on a team that just went to the Super Bowl, and now you give Drake May and that offense a weapon out there and somebody you got to deal with. The Patriots, as long as A.J. Brown the chemistry's okay, the Patriots are just as good as last year, maybe a little bit better. Do I think they're going back to the Super Bowl? No, but that's a conversation for another time. But I think the A.J. Brown to the Patriots, man, I think the Patriots, I think they win that trade, because I think you and I both agree Philadelphia's kind of run with the same team the last few years, and they're slowly declining. They need to make some moves. So they get a 28 first round pick and a 2027 fifth round pick. So they have, they have a couple picks coming up the next couple of years, but the Patriots, they're ready right now. This is their window. We've talked about windows for the last few podcasts, and the Patriots are in it. And now they got a number one wide receiver over there. Watch out. They might be more dangerous than they were last year.
Yeah, so going to be the biggest question here is was it an A.J. Brown thing, or was it a fact that you kind of had a three-headed monster of egos in Philadelphia? I mean, you had you got Hurts, Sirianni, the head coach. You had Jalen Hurts, who is kind of looking more and more like a diva out there. Hey, I want to do this my way, stuff like that. And was it just, you can only have so many egos in your locker room at one time. And I think it was just getting to a point where there was a lot there, and A.J. Brown was just kind of over it. He's like, I want the ball. We're not throwing the ball to me enough, which, we, obviously, right or wrong, wide receivers get that diva tag a lot. They want the ball. They want throw me the damn ball, as some say. So, it's going to be interesting, when he gets to New England, because for what we hear, Vrabel's not going to put up with it. So, can he get it? And I don't think the ego is there as much with the quarterback, with Drake May. No. So. I think it could be good there. I think it could be very, very good there. And I think honestly, the Patriots, not the Patriots, the Eagles are kind of on decline. Like I think they might miss the playoffs this year. Honestly, I just think there's just too much stuff going on there.
Yeah. No, I agree. Eagles, I think, have slowly shown their decline from when they won the Super Bowl to just, they're not consistent. I don't know. They need to make some moves. And I think this is a good move for both teams, but the Patriots definitely won this because A.J. Brown's a legit number one. And if Mike Vrabel can take his off the field problems and put them aside, he definitely has control of that team and the attitude in the locker room and stuff like that. So
he does. And you can, we can get into, we're not going to get into all his, personal stuff, but he's a good coach. He's obviously shown that he's a good coach. It doesn't make things better for what he did, but he's a good coach.
Yeah.
All right, the other really big trade was Myles Garrett going from the Browns to the Rams, as if the Rams needed any more help.
Right.
Obviously, they were pretty good last year. They made the NFC Championship game. I'm still a little bitter about their game against the Bears. The Bears had the ball with a chance to go down and win in overtime. But the Rams obviously are very, very good. Reigning MVP Matt Stafford is back. Will he get a shot in the back right away before the season starts and act like his back hurts and then become amazing?
Right.
That defense was already pretty good. And Myles Garrett, I mean, you get one of the best interior linemen. Maybe he's not interior. I think he's an edge lineman, whatever. It doesn't matter. He's really, really good. That makes that Rams. I mean, that division, obviously, this defending Super Bowl champs, Seattle Superhawks are in there, or Superhawks. Seattle Seahawks. They were the Superhawks last year.
We're the Super Bowl
The
Hawks.
Seahawks are in there. Pretty good. Obviously, the 49ers, when healthy, pretty good. Now are the Rams the favorite in that division now that Myles Garrett is there?
Boy, I mean, you just took a team that had the number one offense last year, and now you've just upgraded their defense. Because, I mean, granted, and we talk about windows of opportunity for these teams, and right now it's the Rams' window. So you know what they did? They went out and got a big-time guy, one of the best defensive players in the league, if not the best, maybe top 5 all time. And they gave up a couple of first-round picks, a first-round, second, and third-round pick, and an edge rusher named Jared Verse, which I had not heard of much of Jared Verse, but he's not Myles Garrett. The Rams, I mean, nobody's really Myles Garrett. I might put Max Crosby in the conversation with Myles Garrett.
Absolutely. Yep.
But they just took a guy from the Browns who's going to be a Hall of Famer. He's got a couple of great years left in him. And they upgraded that defense right away. Now put them with that offense, the Rams are, man, it's going to be hard-pressed not to pick the Rams, not only in that division, but to make a run for a Super Bowl title. They're taking advantage of their window right now. They know right now is the time. They have to do something, and they did it. The next few years, they're going to lose some picks, but right now, they're going to make a run.
Well, I mean, like we said, we talk about windows all the time. We've done it a bunch. We said, that's what the Bears were at right now. Their windows right now, or at least the beginning of the windows right now. We don't know how long their window opens because most windows don't open as long as the Patriots did, or even the Chiefs right now. The Chiefs. Listen, the Chiefs window is still open, but when you have a quarterback, whether you like him or not, with like Patrick Mahomes, your window stays open for a while. But the Rams window is closing quickly because, well, at least they're one right now because Matt Stafford is he's not getting any younger. I can't see. I mean, he signed a 2-year extension, I think, but sometimes those 2-year extensions are just because of figuring out money purposes and not necessarily that thinking he's going to play for 2 more years. But yeah, they're going to be good, but they don't know how long they're going to be good. And Puka, he's had a little bit of off-season troubles too. So, you have to take advantage of it. And plus, that division is pretty darn good. So if they wanted to do something with it, they needed to get maybe just a little bit better. And you can't get much better than getting Myles Garrett, like we said, on the defense. Like you said, Max Crosby, I think, would be the only one that I would kind of put him up against. Maybe a healthy
Bosa or somebody.
Who's the guy that the Packers traded for? Out of from the Cowboys,
Micah Parsons.
Yeah. I think right there, those are your 3 guys, like Max Crosby, Myles Garrett, and Micah Parsons. I think are your game-changing defensive ends right now, and they got one of them. So they're scary. As if they needed to be any better. Sean McVay is already, one of the best coaches in the NFL. So the Los Angeles Rams, whether Los Angeles wants them or not, are going to be pretty good next year.
Yeah, I'd be hard-pressed, again, barring health issues. Like, their defense is going to be – it wasn't that bad last year, and now they've just upgraded their defensive line. The guy just set the record for sacks, and he's going to put pressure on the quarterbacks, and you're going to have to if you want to beat Seattle and you want to beat San Francisco and you want to beat that whole division is going to be so good and so tough that there's going to be a really good team from that division that doesn't – probably going to have a really good record, but it's not going to make the playoffs because you can only have so many teams in there. But there's going to be a really good team that's left out. It's not going to be the Rams. They're going to make a run this year, and I mean, we're not making our picks yet, but man, the Rams are going to be hard to say no to when we run through their schedule and start looking at things because with that defense upgrade And that offense from last year should be just as good. And like you said, Sean McVay is not bad. That Rams team is going to be they're going to be tough to pick against. I'm telling you right now. They're not going undefeated, but they're going to be tough to pick against.
Yeah. And kind of the other big move. Oh my God, I can't talk. Big move is the Cincinnati Bengals got Dexter Lawrence from the New York Giants. I think so. Yeah, Giants. Listen, you can argue that the Bengals need to fix their offensive line.
Yeah,
because Joe Burrow, I think would want to, but I don't know. Getting that defense, if you can get Burrow to stay healthy. He was out for a good portion of last year with a turf toe injury, which I've never had, thankfully, but I heard is very, very painful.
Yep.
But hey, they went out and they addressed some defensive problems. So, him going there, and I don't know why exactly the Giants wanted him out. I don't know if it was money thing. I didn't really read that much. I guess, it was a contract issue, I think is what it was. But, the Bengals, listen, they've been one of those teams that I kind of keep trying to pick, hoping that they can, play well, with the Bills or, with the other team that I kind of go after. But, does this make the Bengals a true threat in the AFC now?
It helps. I think you talked about their offensive line. I need to see quality offensive line play, or otherwise Joe Burrow is going to be hurt again. But the defense was so bad that they had to do something. So this is a step in that direction. And I think the Bengals they had this window there where they made that run to the Super Bowl, but like it just vanished so quickly because the offensive line cannot protect Joe Burrow. So if they can get good offensive line play, we obviously know what Burrow and Chase can do. Like there's no doubt that's one of the best combos in the NFL. I would take them all day long over a lot of other combinations for quarterback and wide receiver. And that defense just has to get better. I think they're making moves in the right direction. Do I think it's enough to win that division? No. Do I think they are still going to be you don't want to deal with those guys. Like they're still a problem, but I think they're maybe a year or two away, depending on the moves that they can make to really make a run to win that division. I mean, the Browns are no threat in there, and we'll see what the Steelers do. You still got the Ravens to deal with.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, what teams, especially in that division, step up because, the Ravens that had missed in the playoffs last year, do you trust Aaron Rodgers back with the Steelers? Mike McCarthy, that's who the coach is. Oh my gosh, it just came to me way out of nowhere.
Yeah, Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy.
Yeah, he coached Aaron Rodgers at Green Bay. That's right.
Yeah, coach Aaron Rodgers at Green Bay. Don't know how I was missing that for a little bit there, but Mike McCarthy's back with them. So yeah, the division's. But the biggest scene is Joe Burrow's health. Like we see it when Joe Burrow is healthy. I mean, you have like you said, Jamar Chase is there. I think who's the other guy there?
Is T. Higgins still there?
T. Higgins. Yeah. T. Higgins is still there, and they had a decent running back too. Their offense is scary if Burrow gets enough time, because if we know what Burrow can do. Like he's really, really good when he has enough time. And Jamar Chase, like you said, is ridiculous. The only other person right now I put up with Jamar Chase is Justin Jefferson with the Vikings, but we'll see how he does with whether it be Kyler Murray or JJ McCarthy. But that defense offense is scary. I mean. Yeah. Heck, our one guy in our fantasy team fantasy league has been good because he picked Jamar Chase late and kept him forever.
Yep.
So like you keep Jamar Chase like that. So but the defense, I remember the Bears won a shootout against the Bengals because they couldn't stop them. And the Bears offense was good last year, but it wasn't like unbelievable. So like, yeah, this making a trade for the Bengals is a huge, huge deal for them. So I watch out for the Bengals. That that division. I know the Ravens are still in there, but the Steelers are down. Looks like a little bit. The Browns, I don't think are ready. So, watch the Bengals. Chance there, right there. So I think they're good. The other one is the Broncos stealing away Jalen Waddle. He was with Miami. Miami obviously is kind of doing the whole reset right now. Yeah. Broncos had Jalen Waddle. Their defense was ridiculous last year. The Denver Broncos, that is, and Bo Nix did a really good job. They got to the AFC Championship game, just ran out of juice. Well, Bo Nix got hurt, and they just ran out of juice. But they didn't really have that threat. I know they had. I can't remember who their top guy was. But
who was their top wide receiver? I forget too.
I'm just going
on. That just tells you right now they needed
right, exactly.
They needed somebody, right? Like,
right.
if we can't remember exactly who their players are, then that means they needed somebody. And I think Sean, again, coaching is huge. Sean Payton, their defense was really good. I don't like Denver, obviously, but they were really good last year. Bo Nix is playing good enough, and they're going to be fine. I mean, their running back room, J.K. Dobbins, R.J. Harvey, like they have enough offensive line, but I'm looking at their wide receiver room going, they got Marvin Mims, Cortland Sutton, but he's getting up there in, age. He's 30 years old. I know that's not very old compared to us, but in NFL terms, that's getting up there a little bit. But it's Cortland Sutton, it's Marvin Mims, but now you throw in a Jalen Waddle in there. They actually now have a couple of wide receivers you have to deal with. So Sean Payton, genius coach. Bo Nix, working with him. Their defense is ridiculous. If Bo Nix doesn't get hurt, who knows? What happens in the playoffs. But they're going to be tough. They're going to be real tough again. And now they got another wide receiver. Maybe that's what they were missing. I don't know.
Yeah, Jalen Waddle's obviously got a lot of speed there. Him and when he was there with Tyreek Hill, that was the biggest thing is they have his speed. So you got a guy now that can stretch the field, like you said.
Yep.
Marvin Mims Jr., Cortland Sutton, nice pieces, but I don't think they're guys that you think are home run threats. Now you got Jalen Waddle, who is a little bit more of a home run threat, and you have a chance, like you said. The way their team is set up, and as good as their defense was last year, they don't need their offense necessarily to win games for them. They just need to make sure they don't make mistakes and put their defense in bad situations all the time.
Right, exactly.
It's like back when the Bears were really good defensively, but the offense couldn't get out of their own way, and the defense, was out in the field so much. Yep. Can Bo Nix do enough to just score enough points here and there to help that defense out, so the defense doesn't feel all the pressure. And I think that's something that getting Jalen Waddle can help them do. So I think, I know you hate to say it, but the Broncos didn't get any worse by doing that.
No, they won 14 games last year. Like they're a good football team. And like you said, just go out, control the clock, put up a couple touchdowns, and your defense is going to carry you a little bit. But now they have some threats out there that could make Denver a little bit more scary. Like, you want to talk about the AFC with Denver and New England now starting to add pieces like that. Whew. I mean, the AFC is looking tough, and you obviously can't sleep on Kansas City. So, man, the AFC is looking tough. Buffalo, it's looking tough in the AFC for my Raiders all over the place.
Well, I mean, let's be honest. The Raiders needed help anyways.
That's true.
They didn't need teams getting better. They needed teams getting worse. And there's a few teams in here that are getting better. The only and one of them
Miami
being in
worse?
is Miami might be getting worse. Yeah, and one of them being in a division. I mean, the Chiefs. We'll see how good the Chiefs are. How quickly Mahomes comes back. But the Raiders are good. I'm not the Raiders. Wow.
Yes, they are.
Wow. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
The Broncos are good, and the Chargers were right there at I think they made the playoffs last year too. So that is a tough division, and it can't make you very happy that the Broncos of all teams got better. No,
what's going to happen? The Raiders are going to have a good season, and you're going to clip that little part where you said the Raiders are good. And we're just going to play that. We're going to play that in December when the Raiders have 10 wins or something like that. So you're just going to clip that part. I'd be like, see, I told you the Raiders are good. We'll have a good match.
Tony's just going to clip that part, period, and just have it ready.
I'm just going to have
he's going to have a little button, like they do on the radio or whatever, these shows, just have a button, and if the Raiders win, he's just going to have my voice. The Raiders are good.
Yep.
He's just going to click that button.
It might be a couple years before I can press it, but I'm going to have it.
Just a TikTok of the Raiders are good. The Raiders are good.
That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to clip just that and play it over and over for 3 minutes on TikTok. Raiders are good. Raiders are good. I got to manifest them being good.
You got me saying it. So
see, there you go. I like it. But yeah, no, they're a couple years out.
Yeah. All right.
Unfortunately.
Bunch of good moves for some teams, other teams maybe not so much. But it was 2 weeks off, but it's been nice getting back in talking football with you. Listen, we're under 100 days for the first game. We're past the middle of June. So we are now getting into July, which means August is right after that. And there are college football games at the end of August. So we are a little over 2.5 months away from a little less 2.5 months away from college football starting up, and the NFL will be right behind it. The Hall of Fame game, I don't know how long it is, but that game's normally in August too. So listen, a lot of good stuff coming up. One of these times here this summer here, we're going to do another wing challenge. Maybe stay away from the bomb, but we'll do a wing challenge.
We've had enough of da bomb, I promise you.
For our hot takes. We'll do that again this summer. So that's coming up later. But we'll come back next week. We'll go through some of the NFL schedules. We promise that. We'll do that again. But until then, my name is Adam.
I'm Tony. Thanks for listening.
You have been listening to the Two Bald Guys Sports Podcast with Adam and Tony. Don't forget to check out our partnership with Happy Nuts.